about work.
Yeah.
So, in the sense of if we are, you know, transitioning into a different type of lifestyle.
I just feel that, like, yeah, I worked all week. And yeah, I made a shitload of money. But I still come home and my energy's...
You look at the check and it's like, it doesn't mean anything.
That means a lot. If I wouldn't be doing that. If I didn't get paid well for what I did.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's an essence of yay, but I think it's still the way I look at it, like, even when I have like loads of cash in my hand, I still it doesn't mean anything to me. Like, there's just this, like, it means that I can buy shit, but it doesn't mean what I want it to be, which is like I feel good. You know, it doesn't have happiness in it.
There's financial freedom, and then there's what I like to call, I don't know, energetic freedom, where you have enough energy, and where that balances out, where you have enough finances. Because I mean, I could work 3 days a week, I'd be fine with that, and you know, take a take that money and live off of it. You know, we can make it work. We've lived off less. Yeah. But the only difference is that I couldn't work 3 days a week before. There's no way. Now that I have that option, I really feel like it seems to be more valuable for me to have that time off. So I can really just... I have... At the end of the week, I'm not collapsed. Right? Like, emotionally and just physically drained. But... And then in another sense, I feel like... There's something tells me that I've heard growing up that I'm just being... I don't have good work ethic.
Oh.
Or... Right?
I felt that. I felt that a lot. Like, my parents never said that, but because they worked so hard, it made me feel like... There was one side of me that made me feel like, oh my god, what's wrong with me? Why can't I why can't I do what they did? They worked for my braces. They worked for my piano lesson. They worked for all of the talents that I have today. And I mean, it must be some divine love that, because, you know, I don't have a kid, I don't understand that love that you just end up putting everything into this person. I mean, like with Pabby, I got an essence of that, but, I mean, he doesn't, what does he need? You know, like...
He doesn't need braces. He does need braces.
He does. It's a jaw adjustment. But I don't, no he doesn't. He looks great the way he is. Yeah. But
the jaw reduction.
But on another form, I think that, I mean, if you can pass down, you know, blue eyes to your baby, and they say like your father's grandmother's dad, that's the gene that you get the blue eyes from, right?
Yeah.
So if you can pass stuff like that down, which is kind of very abstract when you think about it. I mean, just because science told us it's passed down, most general society believes in that. But why couldn't we pass down a fed-upness of working? Because my grandfather worked, I don't know, like crazy. And, you know, he supported 10 children and his wife.
Yeah.
He worked his whole life, right up until retirement.
That's what you do.
And didn't have a lot. It is what you do, but
that's
I think...
what you did.
And that's what I mean, like...
Maybe, I don't know.
Why is it so abstract that because we're in the Industrial Revolution and that we're evolving so fast and that our population's going up so much, that why wouldn't we start evolving really quickly and start basically taking on emotional things that are passed down? I mean, that's true. I tend to act like my mom in certain ways and my dad in certain ways, but why can't I also take their frustration of their work ethic and their parents' work too much, and they're their parents, you know, like,
because it's not
frig, man. I come from like a bunch of farmers and working in the, I don't know, drudgery pits, digging potatoes.
That's not translated though in what you hear about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me.
I mean, of course it's
energetically,
but it's. I think it was just different back then. It was just different for most people. We value time off. We value connection,
and I mean, the majority of people I know, I mean, I don't know. What? It's not to say that other people's parents didn't work hard either, but like friends that I work with at different places, like some of them would spend not only their working hours there, but their night hours there, and they'd hang out there all the time. And when I work somewhere, the last place I want to be after I'm on the clock is at that location and doing that. I mean, maybe I haven't found what I'm looking for. I actually really like that song because of that. I resonate with it.
You're still having fun. That one?
Yeah.
That's the one.
Every time I have a job, I come to that conclusion. It's like, oh, it's just a job again.
You sing it walking under the door.
I have the best type of job for me right now, but still.
Yeah, I like. It says a lot in this book. Show the camera. Is it gonna be in reverse like that?
I can flip it when I edit it.
Okay. He speaks about purpose, knowing your true purpose, and living it through work, and installing kitchens is fun and everything at times. It's really cool about my purpose. When I think about that, like, when I describe, the thing is, when I first heard Micah was a kitchen installer, I'm like, you know, when he told me, I was like, okay, cool. Pop in kitchens.
Pop, pop.
Yeah, like, okay, that seems like, I don't know, it didn't seem too much, right? But he said it with, like, such pride, and like, he really conveyed that, you know, it was a cool job, just on the way, about how he said it. And I still get the feeling now, even though it's, what I'm doing now is, I'm really proud of what I accomplish, right? And it's getting easier, and I like that, and it's getting really fun at times. I still don't feel that I'm contributing much, but like I'm building kitchens for rich people. You know, like when it comes down to it, I'm not really doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
I know. I was just talking to the guy today. The one gentleman, he started asking me about fair trade because I had mentioned it loosely, which I try not to do. Like, it's always an actual Kaeli, stuff I want to talk about. Yeah. But I feel like because I'm limited, because I feel like I'm representing a brand, that takes so much energy from me, because then I'm not my authentic self when I'm there, and then I'm not getting what I could be getting out of the scenario if I was just presenting my knowledge to people. Instead, I'm representing my company. Yeah. And, you know, like here, there's 4 kids, and they've got a really great house, and, you know, there's the father is like some crazy bachelor of music, and their mother is like bachelor of science. They built this intense life, and they're living in a real like crazy neighborhood of money. Yeah. And they're having a chocolate party, so they obviously have the money to pay for it, right? And I mean, we were talking a little bit after us, the kids left, and, you know, like, he was asking me about fair trade and, you know, being chocolate that's ethical, and I'm just like, you know, I start sharing with people that I'm really into health, And that's the way I teach my class, is I get the health benefits of chocolate, and, it's an experience, it's a way to expand your brain, is tasting these different things. And that's the only way that I have been able to sustain myself in the 2 years at this. I think it's because I started manipulating it over, and also because people are calling us to have a good time. It's not like people are, like, in the bar scenario. People are coming to the bartender because they have a bad time.
Yeah.
And I couldn't deal with that. I don't want to talk to those people. I don't want to know that stuff. It's just crazy.
Take that home with you.
No. I want to celebrate someone's birthday party like I do now. But I still want to tell them that you're 8 years old and probably an 8-year-old chopped down the cocoa and created it for you.
I like that aspect of dealing with customers. I love how knowledgeable I can be, and how I don't know what the word is, comforting to the customer. Like yeah, that's one of my favorite parts, because I'm really good at it. I like dealing with people like that.
My biggest frustration,
I'm a people person.
My biggest frustration is when you're not in the people person mode, and you're just baffling people with bullshit, and you're cloudy in the brain. And I mean you, but me, doing that. And it's really, like, that's really frustrating to me. Oh, today the boxes were so heavy. Like, I'm carrying these things, and I swear to God I was carrying, like, 80-pound boxes. Like, I had to rest it on top of my knee. There was no way I could have gotten it at. And it was like, it brings up emotions in me that I sometimes can't control. Like, all this for a couple bucks. You end up feeling like a prostitute in some way when you're not happy. Yeah. Like, some of the strippers I met, they were real happy, and they were great, and they're great people, and I can tell that they love their job, and that is not a prostitute to me. Not that I mean a prostitute.
It's not. No, I know what you mean. There's a difference there.
They're not selling their body. They've found their calling.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're living your purpose in your work, you don't really like.
Do you really like working in your toilet paper company, and you're like going to work every day happy?
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
You're not selling anything.
I'm jealous of those people.
No, I know the people that can be content with that, but that comes with accepting mediocrity. Accepting that that's all you'll achieve. You and I, you more than I at this point, you are very dissatisfied with your job.
No.
And you will, well, I mean, to a point where, it works for now, absolutely, but you're not going to stay there. Imagine being a person that has to cope with the bullshit that they deal with every day, and are happy with that. And, right, what place would you rather be? Are they going to find their dream job? No. Because they don't know what it is. They don't know what they're looking for. They think it's out of reach. Whereas you and I feel like we'll be moving on to better careers if we just imagine it, right?
There was, I'm going to tell you a story that I heard in yoga class today. So there's a lady, and she was really seeking enlightenment. So she hears from the village that she lives in that on top of the tallest mountain, as she could see in the distance, there is a lady living there. And this lady had the secret to enlightenment. She had the secret to life. And she's been told that if she goes there, up to the mountain, that she could gain her secrets and then obtain enlightenment. So the lady packs up her bags and starts the 3-day trip up the mountain. So it was, of course, full of trials and tribulations to get there, but she managed to do it. And she arrives at the cave and then finds out that the cave is full of crazy ins and outs, and, it takes her quite a bit of time to really finally find this person. So she did all that work. She comes and she sees her, and immediately realizing that this is an enlightened individual, goes right to her feet and just is like, I am here and I want to be enlightened. Please teach me everything you know. And so the lady, the enlightened individual, looks at her and says, are you sure? And she says, yes, I want this more than anything. And so, boom, the enlightened lady starts to transform into a dragon, and then she starts to breathe fiery breath down the other lady's neck, and she keeps saying, now, now, now. And the lady started to go crazy. She started running around, realizing that the dragon wasn't going away. She ran all the way down the path, all the way to the village, and the dragon's still down her back. Now, 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 now. And she actually went her whole life, with that dragon breathing down her neck, screaming now at her. And so, it's a really odd story, but the idea is that when you start down the path of improving yourself, there's a fiery dragon that's always going there, and we're always going to be presented with challenges unless we just shut up, sit down, and, do the jobs that we don't want. But I don't think that when we've reincarnated into this life that we were meant to do that, I'm most appreciative of the people that can actually be a police officer and be a nurse and a doctor and can work in those areas, because I think they're in those places for us to have really cool times because they are okay with doing their job. And I love them.
Yeah. People, yeah.
Thanks to the guy who changes the oil in my car, which I need to learn how to do.
Yeah, which is not a bad, it's not to put down anybody in that position.
That's, I think, what I got from or what I pondered about.
Yeah.
I think what I get out of that story is, in a way, you probably could feel for that lady who has a dragon breathing down her neck that, man, if she only knew, she probably wouldn't have done that. And I mean, I think I've heard a lot of stories that are resemblant of that. When you start to go down the path of opening yourself up, you get to points where you're like, why did I start doing this? I often did that, especially when I came back from ayahuasca.
Yeah.
It was just and I was still in the same boat, 10 grand in debt, going how do I get out of this now? It's even worse in a way than before. Coming back from Burning Man, did I tell you, for the first time, it took me 4 days to recover just back into reality. I just slept all day.
Oh, yeah. Why didn't you tell me that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was really sad at that time. I wasn't connecting in ways. And
absolutely, yeah. No, I get that. Jesus.
I didn't even have ridiculous things happen at Burning Man. I know they were ridiculous, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
I would have slept.
I think that's why.
If I had known.
That's why we are okay with this apartment. I mean, we've made it okay. Because we know the value of how much we don't have to work.
People keep asking me, when are you going to move out? My grandfather asked me that today.
Really?
When are you going to move out of the apartment? I don't know. Probably not for a while. So,
I mean, if they truly did the calculations that both of us are splitting, $375.
They just can't see it. They wouldn't be okay with it, so. I don't know. They just
Did you know that they actually
something I need to do
in Hamilton? There's a bylaw of how many people can live in a residence.
No.
So if you have too many people in a house, that it's illegal. It's crazy.
How many people is that?
I don't know. A lot of people.
Yeah.
Which is funny,
yeah. It's the illegal student housing thing that went on in Toronto.
Illegal students.
Well, it was illegal because it violated that bylaw.
They were allowed. Well, I think it's also, people that are coming over from countries where you live with your grandma, you live with your great-grandma, you live with, your second cousin, and you live with all these people. I mean, honestly, that's the only way that you can get really ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. You know, the apartments that I searched before this, a lot of them had it in the contract that it was only for one person. That I would have to pay $100 more on the rent if there was a second person living there.
What?
Yeah, it was the same apartment, but for one person it was $600. For two people it was $700.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was really frustrating.
Oh, it's because of the amount of water they use. If it was all inclusive.
$100 more a month.
Well, I mean, that might be a bit of a grab, but
I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
It makes sense if it's all inclusive. Like if there's another person living there, technically there's going to be more water use. And more power use. Not necessarily, but that's, again, that's a grab,
it's a
right?
shyster move. It's a grab, yeah.
But there's some validation to that. Validation.
I'm really shaken to the bone, by the way, of my dream last night.
What dream?
Of North Korea.
Really?
And then the subsequent dream of the world getting flooded again. I'm that's honestly been my probably 20th flooded dream. Water world dream.
No.
Tsunami dream. 20th. That's crazy. That's I know I have reoccurring dreams, but I have reoccurring themes. And so that was my first dream. And I woke up, went to the washroom, came back to bed. And then North Korea. I was in the eyes of someone that lived in North Korea. Which actually happened to be someone that was from Taiwan running the country. Imagine if that was true.
Someone instead of what's his face?
I don't know. But I totally understood why we haven't gone and saved those people, though. Sometimes it takes me a while to actually get it.
What, you can't just save everybody,
Yeah, but those...
We make a joke out of...
Why are they going to the Middle East and getting oil?
You know why.
Right? I do know why. But, I mean, it is true, in a way, if they were searching for nuclear power, I know why that would be a priority, because you don't want crazy people to get nuclear power. Because look at North Korea, that's scary. No wonder they haven't gone in. If people are starving, it's the same thing as the Holocaust going over there. In fact, in my dream, people were eating each other. Oh, that was so disturbing. That was so fucking... Why do I dream these things? Stop watching stupid, scary movies.
Yeah. We'll cut back on scary movie watching. Because that affects my dreams too. Okay. I never realized.
But I know the difference between a vision and
influence of media. Yeah.
And that was a fucking vision. I haven't talked about North Korea in what?
I don't know too much about dreams, but you might have been experiencing that because you needed to live that experience.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Relate to something in your life.
It wasn't even scary. It was oh yeah, everyone's eating people. Okay, Joe died. We should probably chop him to eat him. It wasn't even scary. It was just oh, and there's a part where we're going through the grocery store, and it was just people with body parts. It's really weird.
Selling body parts?
Yeah, we were in the grocery store and it was human.
That's weird.
For sale.
Human, huh?
It was only that. There's just like nothing else available. Disturbing. Anyways, that's really far off topic, but in a way it's not, because I see how people like working themselves to death and then being fed, you know, modified foods to the point like that baby food that I tried the other day that was like styrofoam.
Yeah.
Styrofoam with salt on it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
To a baby? Really?
It's very, I've been trying to think about that. I'm trying to, like, think of a reason why.
There shouldn't even be a baby aisle.
No.
There shouldn't be anything for sale in a baby aisle.
I mean...
Cloth. That's it. Not even if you body train properly.
Well, people have to make money. People want... there's money, right? That's why that's there, and that's why our food is the way it is. And
I'm way too idealistic.
Of course, yeah, but I see it... I try to picture somebody who's making these decisions, or a group of people making these decisions, looking at statistics and looking at us objectively. Looking at...
Do they do that?
They have to. They can't do it in a human way. They don't make these decisions because they care about people or they give a shit about what we eat. And there's so many of us.
But the thing that really frustrates me is that I guess the more and more I go down this path and the more I try not to look that way, but the more we go down this path, we can't help but look that way, is the way that there is a whole lot of control. The control of what we can see, control of what we do, you know. You, like, look at Mike and Megan living in the purple bus. They couldn't even park outside our thing without people just naturally policing.
It's fucked.
It's so weird. You can't have your dog tied up.
You can't just tie your dog
because
up.
my dog's tied up here not even 3 feet away.
Yeah.
Every day.
This is our home. He's tied up in front of our home.
But I mean, I understand where they're coming from, and that was the best case scenario.
I don't.
She really wasn't. No, I don't understand.
But no, I can't say I don't understand. I see her perspective, but come on. You know, like I don't get why you see something like that and you go, you know, because it is uncommon. Yeah, 911. It is very
suspicious
uncommon.
purple vehicle.
I'm very interested to, as we experience the West Coast and how that will change things. In my head, especially, I've just been on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Never been on the West Coast.
Yeah. So different.
And you were born there.
Yeah. Sort of.
No, you were
Alberta's
born
like
there.
Texas of
Oh yeah, Alberta, yeah.
Canada. It's not even, it's like, what would it be? It's like the Salt Lake City. No, it's not that bad.
Yeah. It's not very West Coast, is it?
Anyway, are we good to say peace out to the camera?
Oh yeah.
That was a great discussion.
Peace
Thanks
out.
for participating.
Thank you.
And see.
And red button. Blink.